Page 222, Observance of Feasts. Chapter 17. You shall not sacrifice to the Lord your God an ox or a lamb wherein is blemish, or anything impious, for that is an abomination in the sight of the Lord your God. So if there is found among you within any of your towns, the Lord your God gives you a man or a woman who shall do evil in the sight of the Lord your God and transgress his covenant. 3. And shall go and serve other gods and worship them, either the sun or the moon or any of the host of heaven, which I have not commanded. Page 223, Advice to Judges and Kings. 4. And it is told you, and you shall hear of it, and you shall inquire diligently, and if it is true that such an abomination has been committed in Israel, 5. Then you shall bring forth that man or that woman who has committed that wicked thing within your towns, whether he is a man or a woman, and you shall stone him with stones till he die. 6. On the testimony of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses shall he that is worthy of death be put to death. But on the testimony of one witness he shall not be put to death. 7. And the hand of the witnesses shall be the first against him who put him to death, and afterward the hands of all the people. So shall you destroy the evildoers from among you. 8. And if there arise a matter which is too difficult for you to judge, between murder and murder, between lawsuit and lawsuit, between a sore of leprosy and a sore of leprosy, any matters of controversy within your towns, then you shall arise and go to the place which the Lord your God shall choose for himself. 9. And you shall come to the priest or the Levite or to the judge who shall be in those days, and inquire, and they shall show you the sentence of judgment. 10. And you shall do according to the decision which they of that place shall show you, as the Lord has commanded, and you shall observe to do according to all that they teach you. 11. According to the sentence of the law which they shall declare to you, and according to the judgment which they shall tell you, you shall do. You shall not swerve from the sentence which they shall show you, neither to the right hand nor to the left. 12. And the man who will do presumptuously, and will not hearken to the priest who stands to minister there before the Lord your God, or to the judge, that man shall be put to death. You shall destroy the evildoers from Israel. 13. And the people shall hear and fear, and do no more presumptuously. 14. You shall come forth to the land which the Lord your God gives you, and you shall possess it and dwell therein, and say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. 15. And you shall in any wise set a king over you, whom the Lord your God shall choose, one from among your brethren. You shall set over you. It is unlawful for you to set a foreigner over you, who is not from among your brethren. 16. But he shall not multiply horses to himself, that he may not cause the people to return to Egypt, when his horses have multiplied, since the Lord has said to you, you shall never return that way again. 17. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that they may not cause his heart to turn away, neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. 18. And when he sits upon the throne of his kingdom, he shall write for himself a copy of this law in a book, out of which is before the priests and the Levites. 19. And it shall be with him, and he shall read them therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord his God, to keep all the words of this law and these commandments, and to do them. 20. That his heart may not be lifted up above his brethren, and that he may not return aside from the commandments, neither to the right hand nor to the left, so that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children, in the midst of Israel. Chapter 18. priest and the Levite shall have neither portion nor inheritance among the children of Israel. But they shall eat sacrifices offered to the Lord and in his inheritance. 2. Therefore they shall have no inheritance among the nations. The Lord is their inheritance, as he has said to them. 3. And this shall be the priest's due from the people, from those who offer a sacrifice, whether it be an ox or a lamb. They shall give to the priest the shoulder and the 2 cheeks and the maw. What the hell that is? And the more 4 of the first fruits also of your grain, of your wine, of your oil, and the first of the fleece of your sheep, you shall give him. 5. For the Lord your God has chosen him out of all your tribes to stand to minister in the name of the Lord your God, him and his sons forever. 6. And if a Levite come from any of the towns of your brethren, out of all Israel where he sojourned, and come with all the desire of his soul to the place which the Lord shall choose. 7. Then he shall minister in the name of the Lord his God, as do all his brethren the Levites, who stand there before the Lord. 8. They shall have an equal portion to it, besides that which comes of the sale of his patrimony. 9. When you come into the land which the Lord your God gives you, you shall not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. 10. There shall not be found among you any who makes his son or his daughter pass through the fire, or who practices divination, or black magic, or is an enchanter, or a witch. 11. Or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a sorcerer, or a necromancer. 12. Whoever does these things is an abomination in the sight of the Lord your God, and because of the abominations the Lord your God is destroying them from before you. 13. You shall be innocent before the Lord your God. 14. For these nations which you are to possess hearken to men with familiar spirits and diviners, but as for you the Lord your God has not allowed you to do so. 15. The Lord your God will rise up to you a prophet like me from the midst of you, of your brethren, to him you shall hearken. 16. Just as you asked the Lord your God at Horeb on the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear any more the voice of the Lord my God, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. 17. And the Lord said to me, they have spoken well that which they have spoken. 18. I will rise up from them a prophet like you from among their brethren, and put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I shall command him. 19. Whosoever will not hearken to my words, which he shall speak in my name, I'll require it of him. 20. But the prophet who shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or who shall speak in the name of other gods, that prophet shall be put to death. 21. And if you say in your heart, how shall we know the word which the Lord has not spoken? 22. When a prophet speaks in the name of the Lord, and the thing does not come to pass nor follow, that is the thing which the Lord has not spoken. But the prophet has spoken presumptuously. You shall not be afraid of him. Chapter 19. When the Lord your God has destroyed the nations whose land the Lord your God gives you, and you shall possess them and dwell in their cities and in their houses, 2. You shall set apart for you 3 cities in the midst of your land, which the Lord your God gives you as inheritance. 3. You shall prepare for a highway and divide into 3 parts the land which the Lord your God gives you to inherit, that any slayer may flee thither. And this is the law in the case of the slayer who kills his neighbor and flees there, that he may live. For whosoever kills his neighbor unintentionally, whom he hated not in time past. 5. And when a man goes into the forest with his neighbor to cut wood, and as he lifts up his hand with the axe to cut down a tree, the iron head slips from the helve and strikes his neighbor so that he dies, he shall flee to one of these cities and live. 225 of trials and witnesses. 6. Let the avenger of the blood pursue the slayer while his anger is hot, and overtake him, because the way is long, and slay. Therefore, though he was not worthy of death, because he hated him not in time past. When a man goes into neighbor so that he dies, he shall flee to one of the cities and live. Page 225 of Trials and Witnesses. 6. Lest the avenger of blood pursue the slayer while his anger is hot, and overtake him because the way is long, and slay him, though he was not worthy of death, because he hated him not in time past. 7. Therefore I command you, saying, you shall set apart 3 cities for you. 6. And when the Lord your God shall enlarge your territory, as he has sworn to your fathers, and gives you all the land which he promised to give to you. 9. If you shall keep all these commandments to do them, which I commanded you this day, to love the Lord your God, and to walk in his way always, then you shall add 3 cities more for you besides these 3. 10. That innocent blood may not be shed in the land which the Lord your God gives you, that the guilt of innocent blood not be upon you. 11. But if any man hate his neighbor and lie down, he wait for him and attack him, smite him mortally, so that he dies, and he flees out of these cities. 12. Then the elders of this city shall fetch him from there, and deliver him into the hand of the avenger of blood, and he shall slay him. 13. Your eyes shall not pity him, but you shall kill him, and thus purge the guilt of innocent blood from Israel, that it may go well with you. 14. You shall not remove your neighbor's landmark, which they have all time have set in your inheritance, which you shall inherit in the land that the Lord your God gives you to possess. 15. A single witness shall not rise up against a man for any offense, nor for any crime, in whatever offense or crime he may commit. On the testimony of 2 witnesses, or on the testimony of 3 witnesses shall be established. 16. If a false witness rise up against any man and testify against him that which is wrong, then both the man between the controversy, that is, shall stand before the Lord, before the priests and the judges, and shall be in those days. 18. And the judges shall investigate the case diligently, and behold, if the witness has deliberately testified falsely against his brother. 19. Then he shall do to him as he had thought to do to his brother, so you shall put the evil way away from among you. 20. And those who remain shall hear and fear, and shall never again commit any such an evil thing among you. And your eye shall not have pity, but life shall be for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot.